All right, so this lesson is about equations that are using division. Just a few key things to remember: that an equation is a balanced scale. So to remain balanced, you cannot do something to one side of the equation without also doing it to the other. To solve for the variable, you must isolate it or get it alone by getting all the numbers on the opposite side of the equation as the variable. You're going to use opposite or inverse operations to isolate the variable. For example, if a number is added to the variable, you should subtract that number. So our first example is x divided by 4 equals 2. So x divided by 4 is written typically using a fraction bar. And so to get x, x divided by 4, that 4 away from it, we're going to use the inverse operation of multiplication. Because if you divide 4 and then multiply by 4, it undoes each other. But I also have to do it to this side. I can't just do it to 1. So x is going to equal 8. It's always a good idea to plug your answer back in and see if it works. Is 8 divided by 4 2? Yes, it is. Our next example is x divided by 3 equals negative 5. So how do I undo divide 3? With multiply 3. A divide 3 and a multiply 3 undoes each other. So x is all that's left, and negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. So negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5. Negative 15 divided by 3, 2 negatives to make a positive. So yes, negative 5 equals negative 5, and that is a correct solution. This time we have x divided by negative 8. So x divided by negative 8, to undo divide negative 8, I multiply by negative 8. Now, one of the big things that people commonly do on these type of problems is they try to do with addition and subtraction and change the signs. I want you to think about it. If you have negative 8 over negative 8, 2 negatives make a positive. If you have negative 8 and positive 8, you get a negative answer. So what that does is when we just multiply by a positive instead, what we would have left over is negative x. And I don't want negative x. I want positive x. So that's why they have to be the same sign on this. That cancels each other out. And 8 times negative 8 is negative 64. Always double check it, especially on ones like this. It'll help you see a little bit easier why it is true that we have to multiply by negative 8. 64 divided by 8 is, of course, 8. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. So yes, this does in fact work. Our next problem is x divided by 21 equals 4. So to undo a divide 21, I multiply by 21. This undoes each other, so all I have left is x, and 4 times 21 is 84. If we plug it back in, 84 over 21. Is 84 divided by 21 4? Yes. And don't just assume it is. Please make sure you actually check that it is, in fact, correct. This one's a little bit trickier because it's technically a two-step problem. I have 6 divided by x. Okay, sorry about that. Not sure what happened there. So I have 6 divided by x equal to negative 2. Now the problem is I can't multiply by 6, because if I multiply by 6, this is 6 divided by x. I'm not undoing anything. However, I can multiply by x, and what that does is cancels these out. Sorry, my computer's acting a little funny on me. Okay, so we have a 6 equal negative 2 times x is just negative 2x. Now this looks just like the equations that we dealt with yesterday. This means negative 2 times x. So how do I undo multiplication? I divide. So technically, this is what we call a two-step problem because you're having to do 2 steps to solve for it. So that goes away, and you have that x equals -3. This would be a very good one to double check your answer to make sure that you have done it correctly. 6 divided by -3 is -2. So yes, our answer is in fact correct. One more time, we have 100 divided by x. So I have to do 2 steps here. I have to multiply by x to get it out of the bottom of the fraction. And that means I have 100 equals 4x. To get rid of a multiply by 4, I divide by 4. Again, using that inverse operation. 100 divided by 4 is 25. So x is 25. What that tells me is that 100 divided by 25 should equal 4. Is that true? Yes, it is. All right, look on the next couple of pages for your assignment. Make sure and look back at your notes as well.